It is Major, my mama's favorite hope dealer, that platinum soul singer, Mr. This Is Why I Love You, and that new that just hit number one on the Billboard charts. I prayed for you because it's true. I did. This is the hope in between. Your midweek relief with myself, Major, and my good sis, Eunice Elliott. Eunice, how you doing over there?
I am amazing. How are
I
you?
like I am well. I am well. I am pushing through crazy weekend, but we'll get into that after we do what we do every single week before we get into the conversation. I want to ask everybody to remember to like and subscribe to the Hope in Between via youtube.com/. Now That's Major, or wherever you're listening to your podcast on iHeart, because we are new partners. But again, before we get into it, let's do what we do every single time, and that's be present in it. Let's catch our breath. Beautiful people, let's do this collectively on the count of three, in through your nose and out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3. Let it out. Again, 1, 2, 3. Let it out. This time, I want you to think about everything that's pulling from you, requiring of you, demanding your time, expecting your energy, needing of you, be it good or bad, work, family, folks, the trifling, the excited, the anxious, whatever it is. We're going to take it in on 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to let it out right now. Listen, if you're like me and Eunice, I know you needed that. So you're welcome. Listen, we don't want life to rush us so much so that we forget to catch our breath. Doing so does a number of things. One, it commands reality to find the pace of what you have now established. Because when you catch your breath, there's a new rhythm that's not caught up and anchored to the hustle and bustle of life. It commands all of the turbulence to fall in line with your pacing, because pace is grace. And two, catching our breath postures us in a way of surrender, that we surrender to the greater power that is at work on our behalf. In our present moment, there's so much giving to us and so much informing us. But when we're caught up in the hustle and bustle of the next, on to the next, you miss it. And I don't want you to miss the gift of the present, because the present is the present. You'll catch that later if you didn't already. All right, beautiful people. So let's get into it. Eunice Elliott, this is the Hope in Between. How was your weekend and your week thus far? How's it going?
Let me tell you, it's going very well.
Uh-huh. Do
uh,
tell.
let's see. So I'm still on break from the tour. So it's been great kind of not having to perform. We actually start back up this week. So we have 4 shows this week.
Woo.
But I got a chance to travel. I got a chance to see the significant otherin, and he's
Huh?
wonderful and well. We'll leave it there.
You just gonna
Um,
leave it there? Okay.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, you know what? I'm gonna leave it there just because I'm learning so much about myself in this process of
Hmm.
partnering with a whole nother human,
She
and
doesn't want to
learning
say
about them.
dating, but she's
Well, we're
gonna say
not dating;
partnering.
we're together.
Okay.
Okay, maybe that'll be our topic next week because we're not. We're together. We are
Okay.
partnered. We're together. We're not dating.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I had a good weekend. The travel was the least favorite part of it all. I'm looking into just go. I'm gonna have to go ahead and bite the bullet and buy a private jet. It looks like
I
because
know. I know.
the change in the planes, the layovers, the delays. I'm like, I shouldn't have to live like this. But I'm excited about everything that's coming up. I guess, in July, we know we're looking at the second half of the year of 2025. So that means the first half is already gone. And
Yes.
so I'm excited about what's next. So right now I am feeling A-okay. What about you, my friend? How's it
Well,
going? How was your weekend?
firstly, I'll say it makes me happy to see you smiling from the inside out, and I'm excited to see what this partnership evolves too as you all
Mhm.
continue to learn each other, give each other space to become acquainted with a perspective beyond your own. That there is love and the adventure of it. For me, it was Essence Weekend, Essence Fest
Yes.
weekend. I was
Everybody
in
was talking about Essence Fest, whether they were there or not. And you, my friend, were actually there.
on the ground, boots on the ground. And speaking of boots on the ground, I probably did that dance about 50, 11 times. It was super exciting. I think people were really impressed that I know the dance from top to
I
bottom.
do not know the dance. I don't know any line dances. That one in particular as well.
Not even the
Love to
electric
tell you.
slide.
The electric slide. I think the
I
electric
was about to
slide
say.
I
I was about to
advanced
say.
to the wobble, but those are 10, 15 years. I mean, electric slide is what, 40 years old?
I'm just making sure you know those two. Those are
No, the
staples.
newer ones, boots on the ground, the Tamia dance, all those dances. No,
Ah,
I
I finally learned, and I'm saying finally because it's you have to have at least 5 events that you did it at without throwing yourself off, and I have
okay.
reached the
You've
five
reached you've reached a
5 event
milestone.
mark. Yeah, yeah, and I now know how to do the Tamiya dance, and it's pretty vicious because I put a little sauce on it.
Great.
People be like, "Look at
That's
him
great. I'm
showing
proud
off,"
of you.
you know. But anyway, thank you for the applause. See, you always
Yeah,
know
well,
how to affirm someone, huh?
I know you like it. I know you like it.
I do. I do. I am one for affirmations. And so anytime you can partake in that part of my love languaging, I appreciate it. Essence Fest was a lot of fun. I started off my Essence Fest by way of Women in Harmony event where I sang for the Urban League's annual Women in Harmony event, which was incredible. A bunch of powerful, beautiful Black women all assembled in at the Ritz Carlton for an occasion of celebrating their impact. Some of those celebrated was Mara Brock Akil, um,
Mm.
uh, uh, Patty LaBelle, Mama Patty was there. That's my girl. Jasmine Crockett. I'm so proud of her. So many others. Just a room full of amazing, and I was one of the headlining performers, and I opened it with "I prayed for you" walking through that audience, and they were like, "Oh, oh, oh, there he is,"
Uh-huh.
and then I ended it with "Why I Love You," and the place went wild. So, it was a beautiful time. Fast forward to, some other opportunities to kind of get to know the new attendees. Essence Fest, weathered some turbulence in that it definitely wasn't attended. The attendance numbers were lower than normal.
Okay,
Um,
but wait, let me ask you before you talk about this year's and the
yeah,
actual attendance.
I don't want to talk about that the
Well,
negative. Let's
you've
talk
been
about
there
the
before
positive
though,
right
right?
now.
You've attended as I still have never attended Essence Fest. You have attended previous versions of
Yes,
Essence Fest
actually,
before.
I realized this was my 10-year anniversary for Essence.
Oh wow.
My first time at Essence Fest, I performed as a special guest on Michelle Williams' stage in the Super Lounge, and yeah, so this is my 10-year. I've done the main stage, I've done the Super Lounges, so I've done all the experiences, so I can kind of speak to every
Right.
aspect of
And
it.
that's what I
Mhm.
want you to speak to. I want you to speak to your actual experience this weekend, what all you did, but also everybody's been talking about Essence Fest. Like I said, I've never been, but I've been seeing the discourse online and I knew that my friend Major was there doing his thing. And I know
Ah,
he was having one experience as the platinum artist Major, but also it's different. I saw where Stephanie Mills has presented an open letter to the
ooh, yeah,
Essence
I just read
organizers.
that.
Did you just see that? Yeah. So it's like from the perception from the outside, completely from the outside, it seems like, yeah, there were some challenges. You were going to speak to maybe how this year was different than, and then
Yeah,
also how so many people had an opinion about it that weren't even there. It's like, what are we doing?
that
So you were
that's
there.
that's something that also shocked me. A lot of opinions coming left and right from folks that actually weren't at the festival. So it was
Right.
it was interesting, but I do know that a lot of times things are live live streamed, and so people are getting their information somewhat real time by way of third party videoing or showing, a live stream. Um, I will say I felt the essence, love, and energy. It just was not at the level of what I'm used to. Um, you can tell that there were some disconnects. I definitely feel, you know, the attendance was low,
Mm-hmm.
lower than normal. It's, generally in that convention center, you're trying to get through so many people, and there was so much space. Um,
Oh.
I wonder, I wonder if a lot of it had to do with recent Target, boycotting, because that kind of spread around. Target being a key sponsor, not the title sponsor. I want to make that clear
Mm-hmm.
so that Essence Fest doesn't look as though they're insensitive to the plight of culture's current situation. But one of the things we have to realize is a lot of these sponsorship partnerships are 5 to 10 year sponsorship partnerships. They're not brand new, and Target,
Mm-hmm.
which is why the boycott is what it is against Target. It's Target prided itself and its brand on this diversity and inclusion. So for them to backtrack their promise and their brand statement, it ruffled a lot of feathers and really disheartened. It let down the culture that helped to lift it up by way of their inclusion efforts. I think that definitely played a big role in it. Um, it just There's some disconnects that I can't fully explain. I just know that it just it didn't fully feel the same,
It
but there
didn't have
was
the
a
same
lot.
vibe. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I
What
think
what were you
obviously the
hearing from your
Target,
end?
well, the Target piece, I agree and understand, you have multi-year sponsorship deals on the table, and I think the editor of Essence actually has a previous relationship with Target. I think she used to be an executive with Target. So that's probably how Target came
The
on years ago when she
the
came on.
No, they were here before. Caroline, she used to work for Target, but no, they were here before them. But I wouldn't be surprised if the relationship strengthened as a result. So that's a good point
Right.
too.
Right. And so, obviously with the called boycott for Target, whether you're participating or not, that was the
Please participate.
headline. But
Go ahead.
I'm saying they had a huge activation that probably in previous years had been more popular. I'm saying beyond the Target activation, like you said, the
And I'll say
attendance, is
this
the
to
attendance
to
down?
clarify to clarify, the target activation was minimal and also deceptive from what I was told, that they used some pink archway, which Target has never used the color pink ever in their activations. Color coding
Uh-huh.
and theming is very key in branding. And they kind of use it was a very interesting, deceptive activation that people were saying, yeah, I walked in and I had no idea what it was. And then all of a sudden
Oh,
you
you
start seeing
mean it
Target.
wasn't their usual red and white that you recognize as Target? You're saying they kind of gave it a
It wasn't
different vibe?
outfacing with that. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. It was some cryptic.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
something that was shared with me that I
Well, do
thought
what you
was
got to do. You
interesting.
there now. You might as well trick folks to come in and participate, from a business standpoint. But it's one of those things where it seems like it was beyond that, because there seems to be complaints about um the acts. um Essence Fest is always known for having top tier talent, present company included. Now I know you just celebrated your 10th anniversary and being a part of Essence Fest. I've never been, but I was reading online some of the discourse, because like I said, I think that it's very subjective. Somebody went this year and had an amazing time, somebody went this year and had a bad time, and vice versa for years previous. They said that usually the lineup for the acts performing are announced a lot earlier, so then that way people can go ahead and plan ahead and buy tickets and plan to be there based on the acts announced. Did you see that to be an issue too, as far as the announcement of the acts?
Yes, I definitely saw I found out later, closer to the date who was going to be performing. However,
Mhm.
I have to be honest. I have not experienced Essence from a normal everyday consumer perspective,
Right.
attendee. And so I want to make sure that I leave space for their experience because I've been afforded a privilege of moving about it as an artist.
Okay, now
But
you
from
got
the
all that
artist side,
legal
yeah.
speak out the way. Now, okay, great, got it. Now, oh, did it was it announced later in your experience than usual?
Yeah, I said that at the beginning. I don't know if you heard that.
NT Hoot. So that was one thing that I saw people say. Well, I didn't know who was performing, so I didn't buy tickets because I didn't have time to plan ahead. Another thing that I have read that may have made it a challenge is there's a lot of big tours going on right now. Kendrick Lamar, Beyonce, and people are using their resources to go to those live shows, and they may have to pick and choose what events they were going to attend. Now that's separate, from the Target situation, but then actually the people that made it there and some of the artists that performed, including Miss Stephanie Mills, have come out and said, huh, this was not a good look production wise. Would you have any insights you can offer us on that side?
I do know that there was a lot of heavy bass. I did notice a number of technical issues as it related to microphones.
Mm-hmm.
I believe my wife brought to my attention that half of MC Light's performance was without the mic, but MC Light is such a legend. She was moving and going without
Right.
it while they were
And the
fixing
audience
it.
can probably do most of her songs. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So people are singing it back. I think that that was another thing that kind of helped a lot of that. So you weren't really able to see what you couldn't hear because it was almost like the audience was engaged. There was a lot of audience engagement and excitement. Um, uh, but yeah, I could tell the sound system had some issues,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. It was a whole lot of heavy bass during some performances. The closer you got, the more aggressive the bass was, which was wild because generally you want to be able to experience, if you're getting better seats, you wanted to have a better experience. But um I don't know what people also heard on live stream because I remember in real time watching a set and people like, yeah, we could have did without that. And I'm not going to say which set to not embarrass, an artist or whatever, but we were all in the audience, like going crazy, enjoying it. And online, they were like, "That was terrible," such and such,
Oh, okay.
And it
Yeah.
was really strange because, stadium sound is not always the best via live stream because you're
Right.
responding. Once you take out those ears, you're responding to what you hear from echoes and the
Mm-hmm.
acoustics and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, what so as a community, this has been one of the highlights of Essence, the magazine, the publishing company, Essence Fest. Essence Magazine just celebrated is celebrating their 55th anniversary of being in publication. And so the question is, and what my perception of it is, how quick are we? Last week, our last episode was about opinions and how much should you offer them and how much should you receive them. And so this is kind of another example. When you are giving your assessment, I can say even in your politically correct speech right now,
Yeah, because I ain't
I
messing
know
up my
you are aware.
opportunity.
I know you're
I
aware of how your words matter. And so I'm looking at the
Yes.
discourse online, and a lot of the discourse is coming from people who aren't there. And I'm saying, okay, well, are you offering this opinion, because it's not a perspective because you're not there, are you offering this opinion to build this situation up or to tear it down? And anyone who is
Right.
listening that may have participated or consumed any of this, that's the question we wanted to try to present this week. It took us a while to get there, but that's the question. Are your words building or tearing down? Constructive criticism, constructing, you're building. Criticizing is tearing it down. Anybody can tear something down. Everybody can't build.
Listen, Eunice, you're hitting a point that I think that we all need to orbit around and don't move until we get it right, because so many people offer unsolicited opinions. They also offer criticism that literally does not do anything but drown, continue to add more noise to the unhelpful advice that we already are hearing. No one's offering solutions. Very rarely do you have people offering solutions. It's almost become trend for people to put their mouth on something without helping to uh, make it better. And it's a wild thing. The cancel culture has not allowed space for correction culture, for course correction culture. It's just get rid of it because I don't like it. And it's really disheartening to see that that's what it has evolved to. And this is not just something that is experienced in Black community. I happen to be a person that, engages in very diverse settings as well. And I see it existing across the color line. It's just the nature of humanity now. Everybody wants to complain, but very few want to constructively offer critique that will help course correct, resolve, or build better. And
Mhm.
it's really frustrating. It's disheartening to see.
It's disheartening, and it's one of those things where from my lifetime I have come to value perspective more than opinions. Any and
Yeah,
everybody can have an opinion on any and everything. If you've never done the thing, you've never tried to do the thing, you've never been a part of the thing, I'm probably not going to receive your information with any credence. I probably don't want to hear it at all. And I feel like now that people all feel like they have a voice online, hey, I can say what I think, and that is fair. That is your right. That is your opinion. That is free speech. But also, I don't know how many people are checking in with themselves and thinking, I've never done this. I don't know what it
that
takes to do
part.
that.
Or
you
I'm
know,
not there.
right. I'm not
Or
there.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Like
don't have
I
to be
don't
the
know what.
loudest on the internet with my opinion because I'm not there. And that's what I'm saying. I think a maturity as you grow up, and that's what I'm hoping our listeners get from it. I tell people all the time, I'm not naive, but I am idealistic. I know people are the way they are. I still will comment on how I wish they weren't. I wish people
Right.
weren't like this. And
But
so for
I will definitely say that one of the things that happens a lot, especially when it comes to the social media platforms, is that one negative generally generates about 50 bots to support it.
yeah, yeah.
I'm being very serious in that it is literally a whole bots that are trolls, that are system generated trolls, like are literally, they're not human beings, they're not real
Hmm.
people. It's just prey on it to get the these platforms moving. And I really want to get to the root of who creates these bots, or like what system develops and nurtures these bots. But many times you're arguing with people that are not real. You're arguing with I don't know why arguing
It's
was
killing
so
you. It's
difficult.
tearing
That
you
was
up. It is
wild. I was like, you're
arguing is tearing
arguing,
you up.
arguing, arguing, but arguing with robots.
But yes, yes, I agree. Trolling and bots are a real thing. Also, and there are also real people who are literal trolls. That is their
Yes.
life. And these are real people. A
Yeah,
lot of
we've run
times if
into
you
them.
see that comment and you engage, you're not engaging with one of the bots. You're engaging with an actual person because you have already clicked on their page and seen that they were real.
Yeah, I love responding, because I have a level of celebrity, I would say. And
Uh-huh.
so I and oftentimes on some of these sites, when a verified account you know posts something, it gets more attention. And so, like, some of my comments may go viral or get a lot of love. And so sometimes you'll have somebody that'll be like, shut the F up, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Or they'll just say something completely left and disrespectful. And I click, go to their page, and I come back and I say, now so and so, and I'll say their full name back to them. And I say, it's actually interesting that you said in God we trust in your profile, and
Mhm.
your language doesn't seem to align with that manner of being. I said, enlighten me. Are you just having a bad day? And it throws them completely off
They don't
because they
expect to
weren't
get called
ready
on it.
for me to
Yeah.
meet their humanity and call them
Mhm.
out. You're right. You're
Mhm.
right.
And that's the thing. And so that tells you more about society and what people are going through in their own lives. I believe that you will never see someone who has ever tried, like, you are an artist and you have acquired a certain level of success. You see more in your future, but you also know you have exceeded something in your past. You would never, as an artist, see another artist that might not be to your level and try to degrade them or embarrass them or say you did horrible. You're going to say, I see what you're doing and let me show you
Yes.
what helped me. You're going to guide. And so for me, that's a telltale sign, is you've never tried to do anything. If you
Right.
see someone trying, whether you enjoyed it or not, whether they reached their goal or not, someone who has done it or has tried to do it is going to say, I see what you're doing. I
Yeah.
know what you're going through. I'm sending you thoughts. Hey, hit me up. Let me tell you what helped me. It's not, oh man, look at how bad this is. Oh, they shouldn't have tried this. Oh, I like the other one better. It's like you telling on yourself that you had never attempted to try to do anything, because that's not the natural reaction. So that's how I felt about Essence. I'm someone who has never attended Essence. Every year Essence always comes up and I'm always like, oh, every year I say I'm gonna go to Essence next year, and it sneaks up on me. But the discourse online and all the opinions that people had, I wasn't seeing pictures and videos of them being there. And so I was like, wow,
Right.
these people have
Well,
such opinions about an event they are not even attending.
I think it's a mix also stirred up by way of FOMO. A lot of people, because it people don't have the money to get to a lot of these festivals and participate. So it's that insecurity and that frustration with not being able to be a part. So
Mm-hmm.
I would rather celebrate, oh, it wasn't worth me even going anyway. I wasn't
Right.
going to spend my money. No, you just didn't have the money to
You
go.
just didn't go
Admit
this year.
that.
It's okay.
It's
That
a,
doesn't mean
it's a
everybody
tough
that
time.
went had a bad time. Right. Now,
Exactly. Because we
I
were
will
dancing
say,
and there's some moments that went viral of us having a good time.
that's what I'm saying. And I also have been to places that when I've seen how it was presented online, I'm like, wow, this looks cooler online than what I experienced, and vice versa. I've seen it not look that hot online, and I'm like, I was there. It was so much cooler than what's being presented. As far as FOMO, I actually do believe that no one is having a good time if I'm not there. So I never have to, like, I literally believe, I'm like, oh, that would
Eunice,
have been
it's
nice if
not
I was
about
there.
you.
They
It's
look like
not
they're having a
about
good
you.
time, but they know better.
Eunice,
So
it's
it's
not
one of those
about you.
things
No,
where I want people
we
to be conscious of their own language, because that's all we can control. I can't control everybody on the internet. I can't go and respond to every troll on the internet. But if you're listening or watching this podcast, take a personal audit and say, hey, when I share comments, when I comment on someone's post, or even just conversations with people that I actually know, am I building them or am I tearing them down? And it does not take a skilled person to tear something down. It takes a skilled person to build. And so just check
yes.
in with yourself and say, which side of the aisle am I on? Am I building or am I tearing down? That's all. That's why I
Right.
want us to talk about this. I want you to know who you are.
And what good is it to continue to pile on? You become the bully that we don't want to,
Right.
perpetuate against us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wild phenomenon because no one wants to be bullied themselves. But when we partake in adding on the criticism and the degradation, we become the very people that we don't want to be we don't want against us. And so I want to celebrate some things. One in particular, I want to celebrate Essence's consistent accountability check-in. Like
Mm-hmm.
they definitely took a lot of accountability online. Like, all right, guys, we're seeing this didn't go right. And I was very proud of them. They took accountability on behalf of Lauren Hill.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the big viral moments where they were
Right.
talking about Lauren Hill was late again, and this time she was actually super on time. And
Right.
but because the
That's the
show
easy
ran
headline, right?
behind,
That's the easy narrative to go
it
along
was
with. Yeah.
yeah, God forbid we actually do a due diligence to say, hey, how was everything else? Was anybody else late, or was anything else
Mm-hmm.
running behind? And so Essence took accountability online and said, we stand with Lauryn Hill. She was not late. She was on time. Our production was behind. And thankfully, Lauryn Hill still performed as a legend would with the
Right,
very
right.
few hundred that remained in the Superdome. That
Mm-hmm.
was surprising, but I think that should have been celebrated all the more, that she would give a performance of a sold out show to an audience
For the
of
people that stayed,
just,
yeah.
yeah, for the ones that say, it was pretty powerful
And it's the
to
same
see.
story that could have been told in that way. Legendary Lauryn Hill stays, even though production is delayed and most of the audience left, and gave the people that stayed the show of their life. It's the same facts, right? And so, and that's what's interesting is, yeah, the clickbait, the headlines. If it's negative, it can feed into another story that people already believe, whether they know or not. Most of the people that will tell a Lauryn Hill is late joke have never waited on Lauryn Hill at a concert, right?
Right.
It's just, it's just that's a joke that I know I
It's
can
so,
tell.
isn't that wild?
Yeah. And I again, I'm not naive. I'm idealistic, and all we can do is be accountable for ourselves. And so I
And
don't want this to just be like, oh, these people over here are doing that. I'm saying, hey, everybody, check in with yourself and figure out, okay, am I building or am I tearing down? Am I a troll? And some people are a troll. I have people in my family that are trolls. I know they ain't listening to this, but this is what they'll do.
I have family that there's some family members that are just, everything's negative, and it's like, yo, chill.
What did I
Like,
do to you?
yeah.
Relax. Relax. Right. And so that's the thing. If you don't have that person in your family, it's you. If you don't know that person, it's you. Okay. And you might be thinking,
Or
I'm
they
just
could
offering
possibly have a
feedback.
very positive, they can very well have a very
No,
positive
no.
family.
That's
Listen,
that's not it. So anyway,
I'll
if
say
you don't
this.
know who the person is, it's you. Do an audit, do better, build, or be quiet. Okay.
I ran
Now, I wanted to
across,
ask you right quick. You
yeah.
about to talk about something else. What is this hat you have on? This is different than in episodes prior. You always are rocking some headwear. What is this you have
Yes,
on?
make America pray again.
Oh.
Listen, I'm speaking to the fraudulent individuals who hide behind the guise of Christianity and spirituality, that claim they're upholding godliness, but they don't know how to love one another. They
Mm,
don't know how to make space for one another, which is absolutely contrary to the principles and
mm-hmm,
the essence of godliness and what is kingdom, what is Christian, what is love. And so I really want people to get back to it. You know, my new single, I Prayed for You, which also got me my number one on Billboard
yes.
for 2 consecutive weeks, and two Stellar Award nominations. You can vote for me at stellarawards.com. Click fan favorite voting, and then enter your information to vote for Major, I Prayed for You. Help me win there. But I do want to say that, America, come on. It is so disheartening to see what is happening. There's so much division. It's so much so that when tragedy happens, the
Mm,
division and the issues of racism and bigotry are what overshadows the
mm-hmm,
humane,
mm-hmm.
um
Actual concern and care for people.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, literally what happened in Kerrville, Texas. And yes, it was a camp. Yes, it was 25 white little girls, but they are little girls. They are people that have been washed away by
Mm,
way of a natural disaster. We should
mm-hmm,
not be celebrating that or being numb to the devastation of humanity.
mm-hmm,
Yes, there are people and families that may be illegal that are being taken back to their country, but the way in which they are being raided and kidnapped and treated is inhumane. Have
mm-hmm.
some love, have some compassion, people. It will knock on your door as well sooner or later. You
Always.
don't want to be the person that when it knocks on your door, no one is around because you didn't care when it
Mm-hmm,
wasn't your issue.
mm-hmm,
Let's make America pray again. Our leadership, our administration, Lord knows they are running almost a circus, if you will, out there. But us just speaking to the negativity is not going to help this thing. Let's mobilize in our positivity. Let's mobilize in our understanding of what can be done to fix this thing so that we can properly speak truth to power and not just be yelling it out, but showing and proving that this is what happens when we come together to galvanize a people on the right side of justice. Listen, y'all, my heart is breaking. It is breaking. It is breaking, and beyond America, because it's not just happening in America. This devastation is happening in the Congo. This devastation is happening in Gaza. It's happening in Israel. Come on, people. Let's not just add noise to the chatter. Let's add love to the fixing, to the remedy, to the coming together. Please, please. I said a prayer for you, and I pray that you do the same for me. Please.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah. I came across this, Eunice, online, and I thought I needed to repost it. It says, you know who's going through a lot right now? Literally everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Just be kind. Just be kind.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Yeah.
all going through something. Just be kind. Be love. I sing about it every day. I speak about it. We speak about it. That's why we have the hope in between. Be kind. Be love, y'all. And if it ain't love, keep it to yourself until you get back to the love.
Yes.
That's so country. I love that, Birmingham. I love that, Alabama.
Ugh,
Yes.
please.
Y'all, this is the hope in between. Eunice, we've definitely hit our mark on the time. We had some technical difficulties that may or may not show, but we pressed through because that's what we do. That's what hope is all about. Hope is realizing it's not the denial of reality, but it's the commitment to believe greater is on the other side of it. The ebbs and the flows, the turbulence, all of that is going to be a part of this thing called life. But how you choose to hold on will make the difference. Make sure what you're holding on is hope, and you'll get through
Mm,
it. You'll get to it. What say you, Eunice? Do you agree?
I agree.
With that said, beautiful people, this is yet another episode of The Hope in Between with Major and Eunice Elliott, empowered by Inflection Point and iHeart. Make sure you like, subscribe, and stay locked every Wednesday, The Hope in Between. And if not on a Wednesday, you can get some other episodes to catch up and know that it's always some hope, because hope ain't ever canceled. I'm stumbling over my words because I feel emotional about these topics. But if it ain't love, keep it to yourself until you get back to it. All right, peace out. This is The Hope in Between.